The Houston Astros have swung a trade. Is it a sign, or is this a smart, savvy move by that front office? Let's talk about it. The Houston Astros 2024 season has been terrible. A 17-25 start. Things are looking good right now, beating up on the Oakland Athletics, which is what the Astros always do. So are the Astros back, or are they just beating up on a familiar foe? We'll find out as this week continues, see if they can continue their momentum into the weekend. But this 2024 season has been terrible. The pitching is prime suspect number one. Injuries have been a problem, and a lot of the guys they've been throwing out there that they had expectations for, and guys that are sort of filling in, they have not had consistent, good outings. So the pitching has been a problem. And the bats even. Look at this. 189 runs is 14th in baseball despite top 5 in batting average, just outside the top 5 in on-base percentage. A top 10 slugging team, but in terms of scoring runs, still outside of the top 10. So the offense, there are certain players clicking, but they've also had some issues. 2 of the prime suspects were Bregman and Abreu. Abreu has been sent down, and Bregman is finally starting to click. Looks like he's getting hot. But all of this has led the baseball world to start to question, envision the Astros as sellers. Will they sell? If they do sell, who's on the way out? And again, today's trade is a player that you probably heard of. It is a player who received a ton of playing time last year in Cory Juggs. Mark Feinsand with the tweet earlier that the Astros and the White Sox swung a trade. Here is the actual deal. The White Sox receiving Cory Juggs and the Astros receiving a 20-year-old right-handed pitcher named Luis Rodriguez. We'll spotlight Rodriguez really quick. The piece going to Houston. Again, this is a relief pitcher, a relief right-handed pitcher, only 20 years old, so there is a lot of development still to be done here. An interesting piece last year at 19. Decent. This year, in only a couple of appearances, not so much, but we're not really going to take a whole lot from that. What we take from this is we have a young right-handed pitcher that you can develop for Cory Juggs, who was kind of starting to leave that high ceiling level of his prospect status because he's getting older. Cory Juggs is 28. So you get a 20-year-old relief right-handed pitcher, probably going to be a relief pitcher, and you're giving up Juggs. What is the cause for this? Cory Juggs had just been DFA'd by the Houston Astros, which means he is removed from the 40-man roster, which means he needs to be traded, placed on waivers. They had a decision to make with Cory Juggs, and the way they went was the trade. Why? Why do you DFA Cory Juggs? Guy that played a ton of time last year, a guy that you have to figure is somebody that could fit into that outfield if you need depth. Juggs is a good piece for depth. If you start having injuries, right now McCormick is on the IL, but he's working his way back. You may want Juggs, but the Astros are moving on. Did they want the young pitcher? Maybe it's about this guy, Joey Loperfido, who is crushing the ball. In the minors this year, an OPS over 1,100, 13 home runs in the minors to start the season. And since his call up to the majors, 9 games, 9 for 28. Doesn't have a homer yet, but has driven in some runs. So that is really the cause, because Juggs would be a nice depth piece, but you don't need him anymore with Loperfido, and they have high expectations and belief and confidence in this bat. So, Juggs going to the White Sox. You're not just getting Houston's scraps. You see what he did last year. 6 home runs, 15 steals, played a ton, 323 plate appearances at the major league level. Taking a look at his percentile rankings, he's a good fielder. You're going to like him in the outfield. His arm, extremely strong. He's quick on the bases. The bat is something that just has not developed to the point where Houston still could hold a spot for him. But with the White Sox, he's a nice piece here for this temporary window where the White Sox are rebuilding. He'll be a nice addition. And to the point in 2024, Cory Juggs has been a decent bat down at the AAA level with a 266 average, a 358 on base, and an OPS of 800. So he'll be, at some point, up with the White Sox this season. He'll be somebody that you can rely on in the outfield, that you don't want to run on if you've got to play at home or at second. Cory Juggs will make you think twice before trying to snag the extra base. And again, quick on the bases. Pinch running, fourth outfielder. Cory Juggs is a nice piece for a, if you're the White Sox looking at it, maybe a long shot pitcher that you've had just for a minute in your organization. So this trade, again, I said it at the top, is this a sign or is this just a smart, savvy move by the Houston Astros? And right now, I'm going to say this is just a savvy move. Moving Juggs, who with Loperfino, you no longer have room to keep Cory Juggs on the roster. You're thinking about the defense of it. You think about the base running of it. Well, you're already getting that with Dubon and McCormick and Myers, right? You need a bat, a guy that profiles as a big-time bat, and that's what the lefty, the Loperfino, profiles as. So you'll get that defense, that base running from some of those other guys. But I think this is a good move for a guy like Juggs, who is time to go. You bring in a 20-year-old righty that you can develop and maybe turn into something dangerous. I mean, this Astros team is feeling like we're in a spot where we're just waiting for that sign. And again, I don't think this is it. That sign that maybe they are taking calls and getting some interesting offers. Nothing's going to materialize until we get closer to the deadline. Their front office has been steadfast that they are not going to sell, but that's what you say in April and in May and in June. If you don't say that, we got a whole nother problem. You have to go forward if you're the Astros, as this thing's going to turn around. We can still make the playoffs, win this division. That's the way you move. If you get to mid-July and you're 10 games under 500, then the story can change. Then you start moving pieces that are headed out the door anyway once the season concludes. And obviously the most high-profile name there is Alex Bregman. And we'll see if any of that materializes at any point. But a good trade for the Houston Astros here. I like the move. I think it is smart. Moving on a piece that you really aren't going to utilize anymore, and you get a pitcher that you can develop. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about the Astros situation. If you think they're going to sell, if you like the trade, White Sox fans, Astros fans, please chime in and let me know what you think. Astros fans, maybe you are going to miss Cory Juggs. Remember, serves me right, he did have some big moments last year for the Astros, so maybe this will be a guy that the numbers didn't pop off the stat sheet, but maybe you miss. Again, Astros fans, comment down below. Let me know what you think about the trade. That's going to do it for this one, everybody. I do appreciate you hopping in for a quick one. Ballcap Nation, I salute you. Thank you guys for coming in and spending some time with the video, with the channel. Make sure to hit that like on the way out. You made it all the way to the end, and I appreciate you for that. As always, if it's low, let it go, and if it's high, let it fly.